Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I'm working on addressing something here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something here with my '08 Dodge Grand Caravan. I just drove down to work. I live close to an hour away from the shop. So what is it that I want to show you? All right, well, first off, let me show you the mileage on this. 252, 261. So I just unlocked the shop. It's actually Saturday. Let me pop the hood. So I made the video last week, was it? With the Honda Pilot. And woohoo! Did I get some comments on that? And some of you were like, shame on you. Oh, I would sue you. All sorts of stuff. Sue me for what? I'm just really curious. I don't know if those of you that had all the negative comments, I don't know if you actually watched the video. Like, the whole thing. I said in the video about how the customer had it towed in because it was smoking heavily. Well, how is it smoking heavily if they weren't driving it? Obviously, they were driving it, and it was smoking heavily. The tow truck driver dropped it off out front and drove it back here to that open spot right there between the Maxima and the F350. So how did they know it was smoking, or the customer? How did they know it was smoking? Well, obviously, they were driving it. Let me go get my tripod here. And the fact that I had it running, and there was no smoke when I first started it, but I knew it was overfilled. How much was it overfilled? Could that have been in quart? Sure. I don't know. I don't know Honda's to that point of knowing where on the stick is, 1 quart, 2 quart, 3 quarts, 5 quarts, 6 quarts. I have no idea. But if you recall, that's the fluid I dumped out. I filled that container up, and that's what was left. So this is what it was overfilled by. As you saw, I just drove my own car in. So what we're going to do is my car is due for an oil change. So what we're going to do here is we're going to overfill the oil. I'm going to try to do this without spilling. Like I said, this is the oil that came out of the Honda. This is the residual oil that didn't go back into the Honda. This is what it was overfilled by. Somebody had mentioned that was a video on pouring, pouring fluids, which I found kind of funny. All right, so there. Empty. So now, my Caravan, which holds 4.5 quarts, 5 quarts, should technically be severely overfilled. And as you can see, it's all the way up to here. About the same height as what it was on that Honda. So we're going to take this, I'm going to start it, and I'm going to take it up the street. First off, let's start it up. And let me go on the same road test I went on with the Honda. Hold on a second, let me put my seatbelt on. Sorry, I'm gonna look at the ceiling. I just don't want to edit this video because, like, splice in the video, because what I'll get is I'll get people saying, oh, you cut out on the video just so you could drain oil out of it. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. Because that's what the haters do. And I get a lot of those. I find it kind of funny. This is the exact same road test I went on with the Honda. Okay, I want to show you that you act like I'd never seen that before. I've seen cars severely overfilled before. I've seen cars with over a gallon of coolant in the oil. I've seen cars... Let me roll the window up, sorry. I've seen cars with... I've seen a diesel that had a stuck injector that wound up with over 2 gallons of diesel fuel in the engine oil. Didn't do anything. I've seen a vehicle that was 16 quarts overfilled, and it was a Volkswagen. Now I can feel the motor does feel a little on the slushy side. You know why? Because there's no windage. And what's happening is the fluid is hitting the crankshaft and it's slowing the crankshaft down. So that's why the engine feels sluggish. This is the exact same road test. I didn't go any further than what I'm doing now. Back into the shop. So, I mean, for all you naysayers out there and people that are like that were so upset with the video, which I just don't understand. You know, I think I should know enough to where, if it's so severely overfilled that I think it's going to cause damage, you know, I wouldn't do that. You know, but I've seen it way too often. I've seen it more than you think with cars overfilled with oil severely. I've seen cars where, for some reason, the person thinks that they drain the engine oil out, or I'm sorry, they drain the engine oil out. I've seen this. It was on a Cadillac Escalade. They drained the engine oil out, and they, for some reason, thought they drained the transmission fluid out, and total fill capacity on the transmission on the Escalade was like 12 quarts on an overhaul. So they added 12 quarts to the already 6 quarts that was in the engine oil. And the customer took the car. So, you know, yes, actually, let me shut the compressor off so I don't have to stop the video. And I want you guys to watch all of this, so you know I'm not pulling your leg. So unfortunately, you got to deal with the noise. Like I said, that one comment really, it made me laugh. I would sue you. Sue me for what? I don't know. blows my mind. So, okay. Sorry, look on top of my head. I got garbage falling out of the car. Okay, oh, let me get my tripod. I know you're seeing a lot of up close and personal of my face there. All right, let's go back to the motor. Okay, the motor's still there, it didn't blow up. And just to show you that yes, indeed we do, it is the same oil. There's no camera trickery. The level's all the way up here. Okay, I'll stick it again, so there's no question. There's the oil level all the way up there, okay? All right, let me set this up. I can put it up in the air, and we can change the oil. I actually think I got a rear caliper hanging up on this a little bit. But I'm not sure. It's going to take me a second to set the lift up. If you want to skip forward, you can. Here you can watch me set up this side. Setting up the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did with the Honda. I'm gonna put it up in the air, I'm gonna put the bucket underneath it, we'll see how much fluid came out. Tell you, I just absolutely love this van, but I think it's getting close to the end because it's starting to, like it was a New York car its whole life until we moved down here, and now it is starting to rot. Okay. Well, it started rotting up in New York, but now it's really starting to rot. But it still passes inspection, so okay. All right, so can you see what I'm doing here? Let's see, you can. Let me aim the spout out of the way this time. Okay. And just so you know, that's actually the original drain plug to this motor with that kind of mileage on it. You know why? Because I don't over-tighten the daylights out of the darn thing. And do you see any real leaks? No. Whoa, don't do that. This thing's hot too, so this might burn a little bit. Coming out with some force there. So I'm just gonna let that drain. So it's just, like I said, it kind of, not that it concerned me, but I just kind of want to set the record straight here, you know, because there was just so many people, you know, from the "I would sue you," which that's laughable at best, that I got "shame on you, Kenny, how could you do this, you should know better," you know, all sorts of stuff. And it's just like what do you think is going to actually happen? Just out of curiosity, what do you think is going to actually happen? What happens is the engine oil contacts, like the level goes up so high, it contacts the crankshaft. That's why I said this thing felt sluggish, because now the crankshaft is trying to turn in oil. Your crankshaft is not turning in oil in your car, because that wastes gas, it hurts horsepower, and it cavitates the oil. If you kept driving like that, and I mean kept driving for a long period of time, could you possibly hurt bearings? Yes, you can. Because what happens is you cavitate the oil gets aerated. So yes, you can hurt that. Can you blow a seal out? I've heard people say that. I've never once seen an oil seal blow out from being overfilled. Could you basically overflow the dam, so to speak, with an oil seal? Sure you can. So that's a possibility that you'd wind up with a leak, but to actually physically blow one out, I've never seen it. I don't see it happening. So, all right, so this is slowed down, but I am gonna let it drain for a bit longer. So this is slowed down. Let me lower this down. I gotta support this because it's gonna be heavy. All right. So, look familiar? Okay. So hopefully I clarified for you why I did what I did. Had I thought that the amount of oil that was in there was causing, like, if it was coming out the valve cover, I wouldn't have bothered trying to start it. But the fact that customer drove it, tow truck driver drove it, I started it and didn't see any smoke. Like if a customer brought their car into you and said, "My car is smoking," what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to verify it's smoking, right? You want to see what kind of smoke it is. You're not going to go ahead and start diagnosing everything. It's just not how you do things. So I was confident no damage was going to happen. I was confident I wasn't going to blow a seal out, basically, which is damage. I was confident nothing bad was going to happen. That's why I drove it. You know. So I'm sure I'm still going to get haters and naysayers and stuff for this, but anyway, I just wanted to show you I did it on my own car, and this is my ride home. I'm an hour away from home, and Mrs. Wrenching can't drive anymore. So, and my daughter's up in Ohio. So if I had to go home, I don't know what I would do. I would have to borrow a customer's car or something, or I would have to get an Uber home. But that'd be expensive. I don't feel like doing that. So anyway, I just thought that this would be a good thing to cover. Like I said, I was going to address the situation because I had so much hatred on that. And you know what? I'm glad you guys do that. That's fine. You know, and I've said before, I make mistakes, but do I feel that I made a mistake with driving that Honda on that little road test up the street to CVS and turn around? No, I don't feel I made any kind of mistake. I feel it was the right thing to do. So maybe you don't. I do. All right. And like I said, I've been doing this for 40 plus years. Never once have I had an issue with overfilled oil creating a major catastrophe. Now, if it's so overfilled that it's dumping oil into the intake system, which that Honda wasn't dumping oil into the intake system. If it was dumping oil into the intake system, could it crack a ringland? Sure. Very highly unlikely, I should say, but anything's possible. But like I said, I wasn't worried about it. Okay, I'm rambling. All right, guys, I hope you got something out of that. I hope I clarified some things. And that's about it. All right, have a great day. Keep wrenching.